If I Had 10 Lives. This poem is an original poem that was inspired by a poem of Haley Grace. If I had 10 lives. In my first life, I faced every fear I used to run from in silence. I stopped letting fear decide what I can or can't do, and I start stepping into situations even when my hands shake and my thoughts get loud. I learned what it feels like to survive my own doubt, to stand in the moments that once felt too big for me and realize I didn't fall apart like I thought it would. Every fear I face teaches me that I am stronger than the version of me that kept backing away. In my second life, I start searching deeper, not just into the world, but into my roots. I try to understand where I came from, learning pieces of my parents' past, the things they went through before they ever became mom or dad. I begin to see them as people who had their own struggles, their own stories, their own unanswered questions. And in learning them, I slowly start to understand myself a little more too. Like I'm putting together a puzzle I didn't even know I was missing pieces of. In my third life, I finally let myself live without asking for permission. I stopped waiting for approval, stopped shrinking myself so I can fit into spaces that were never meant for me anyway. I do the things I always wanted to do, even if people don't understand it, even if I look silly trying. I let myself be loud in my choices, free in my actions, and honest in the way I move through life, like I'm finally allowed to just exist fully without explaining it. In my fourth life, I let go of the idea that I had to be perfect to be enough. I stopped chasing an impossible version of myself that never feels complete, no matter how much I try. I learned to accept my flaws without turning them into something I hate. Instead of constantly fixing myself, I start understanding myself. I realize I don't have to be polished or flawless to deserve space in this world. I just have to be real. In my fifth life, I slow everything down. I get a pet that becomes a quiet comfort in my days, something that sits with me without needing words. I spend time on a balcony, watching the world move while I stay still, letting life feel softer instead of rushed. As I grow older in this life, I stop panicking about time passing and instead start noticing it. How it changes light, how it changes me, how it teaches me to appreciate moments I used to overlook. In my sixth life, I finally learned how to take care of myself in a way that actually feels like care, not obligation. I stop ignoring what I need and start listening to my body, my mind, my emotions. I build myself back up slowly, giving myself rest when I need it and encouragement when I'm low. I become someone who doesn't just survive the day, but actually supports themselves through it, like I'm learning how to be my own safe place. In my seventh life, I open up more than I ever thought I could. I stop locking everything inside and pretending I'm fine when I'm not. I let people see more of who I really am, even the parts I used to hide, because I thought they were too much or not enough. It's uncomfortable at first, like stepping into cold air, but over time, I realize connection feels lighter when I'm not carrying everything alone. In my eighth life, I become more adventurous, like I'm finally chasing the world instead of watching it from the sidelines. I try new things without overthinking every outcome, and I let myself explore places, experiences, and moments that feel unfamiliar but exciting. I stop letting fear decide what I miss out on. Every step feels like a discovery, like I'm writing a version of myself that isn't afraid to move forward. In my ninth life, I learned what love actually feels like, when it's not confusing or heavy. I experience something gentle, something steady, something that doesn't make me question my worth. I stop confusing intensity with love and start understanding comfort, trust, and care. It feels like being seen without having to perform, like being chosen without having to beg for it. In my 10th life, I finally looked back at everything and realized something important. I didn't really need 10 different chances to become someone I'm proud of. I could have been learning, growing, and becoming that person all along, even in the middle of mistakes and uncertainty. I understand that every version of me was still part of who I am, and that I don't need another life to start living differently. I just need to keep going with this one. That was my poem. I hope you guys liked it. It's not the first poem I wrote, but it's the first poem I am posting.